myself. Oh no, give me that cell. Oh, I gotta go like Cobain. 8 years to the grave, gone insane. My blood got propane. How you gon' go and throw my name with shame? Already cross-faded, making it to the disco. I hate it, and you know how this goes. You framed it, picture painted in my room. This that real life shit, none of Zoom, got the scene in it.
Make sure you subscribe to JerCrispy.
What's up, y'all? It shows the most JerCrispy. Welcome back in that video. The weirdest Mario characters who make no sense. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Follow us, social media is gonna pop on the screen. We're on the road to 300. And let's get it.
The world of Mario is full of some of the most iconic characters in all of video games. You've got the classics: Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, Yoshi. All legends, all reliable, all kinda normal. At least by Mushroom Kingdom standards. But if you look just a little bit past the cover art of the games, things start to get a little weird. I mean, some of these dudes genuinely feel like the result of a fever dream. Sometimes characters are in every Nintendo game for 40 years. And sometimes characters show up once, confuse everybody, and then vanish until they decide they want to go racing or play tennis. Some characters raise more questions than they answer. What exactly is Birdo's deal? Who or what is a Nabbit? And why did it just show up one day to help take down Bowser? And why is no one else asking where Koopa Kid is and what Nintendo did with him? These are the characters that fascinate me the most. Not the heroes, not the villains, the weird little guys. Today, we're diving headfirst into a handful of oddities from the Mario universe. 3 characters, 3 walking question marks, and 1 very important mission. To figure out what is going on with this weird group of sidekicks. If we're talking about weird little guys, is there a better place to start than with this? Don't get me wrong, I like Nabbit. His design and role injected a nice amount of life into the super stale and repetitive New Super Mario Bros. Series. But is there a better way to describe him than weird? He looks like a rejected pitch for a villain from an 80s cartoon who tries to rob cereal factories in broad daylight. He sorta gives the same vibes as Waluigi. He wears a bandana over his face like he's either here to commit crimes or tell me that this town isn't big enough for the both of us. And starting a decade ago, he just started showing up in every Mario game without bothering.
Yeah, and I'm glad they added Nabbit as the 4th character on Luigi U. I'm glad they did that, bro. That was the most amazing thing I ever did. I'm glad they added another Toad, so Nabbit was the best part of getting him onto that mug.
Explain himself. And honestly, I kind of love him for that. With all that said, when we look at Nabbit, what exactly are we looking at? For starters, he's by far the newest character I'll be talking about today, debuting in New Super Mario Bros. U back in 2012. His English name is a play on being a rabbit and a thief, and I don't think that gets quite enough credit. His role in the game is actually pretty fun. He randomly shows up on the overworld map in different levels, and you have to catch him to steal Toad's stuff back. I will say, when I played through this game, there were a couple of times where this was actually surprisingly hard to do. But that was pretty much it for him. Or so I thought. It turns out that in any level where you're rewarded with an item chest, if you wait around long enough, Nabbit shows up and steals it. And unlike in his normal levels, you can't get these ones back from him. They're actually just gone. I imagine I'm not the only person who never saw this detail, but I love that this is in the game. So okay, fine. Nabbit is a thief. He's a recurring nuisance. So in any normal video game world, this would make him a minor villain, right? A small-time crook pestering the heroes as they go about their journey. No. Just vibes and debauchery.
Debauchery!
Debauchery! Debauchery!
And yet, somehow, in the very next game in the series, New Super Luigi U, this little thief is a playable character, a member of the main crew, a full-on protagonist. There is something absolutely hilarious about this to me. Nabbit literally steals from Mario and Luigi in one game, and then in the next, he's helping them take down Bowser. No questions asked, nobody brings up the past, nobody holds a grudge. Welcome to the Mushroom Kingdom. No one's keeping track of anything here. Bowser and Mario have a baseball game scheduled for tomorrow. But on top of his role in Luigi U being strange, his ability is even stranger. He's the ultimate...
you can play as Toadette too? That's crazy.
Easy mode character. He can't take damage, though he also can't use power-ups. So in a weird twist, not only does the thief become the hero, he does it by playing under different rules than everyone else. But here's what I don't understand.
What?
Why Nabbit? Toad exists. Yoshi exists.
Yeah.
Heck, baby Yoshi was right there. But
Yeah.
no, you know what kids love? Criminals. And guess what? They weren't wrong, because this guy shows up everywhere now. Mario Party, Mario Golf, Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Mario Kart World. At this point, is he ahead of Waluigi in line to get in Super Smash Bros?
That's
While
crazy.
I suppose it's all fun and games, there is a specific reason that I'm talking about him in this video. We know nothing about him.
Facts.
No dialogue, no origin, no motives,
No
species.
backstory, no nothing. This nigga don't even got his own game or nothing. Why he be stealing and stuff like that, and we might never know why unless Nintendo drop his own game.
Nothing. He just has a mask that looks like Bowser Jr.'s, carries a sack that, might I add, is always full, and shows up. I know they're not exactly known for their story, but that is wild even for a Mario game. If you knew nothing about Nabbit going into this video, congratulations. You now know pretty much everything about Nabbit. What are we supposed to do with this information? I don't know. We don't know anything about this weird little guy, but maybe that's what makes him work. Not every Mario character needs a family tree or a backstory. Sometimes you just want the purple rabbit who commits crimes but still gets invited to every gathering. That's Nabbit. A great example of a weird Mario character who exists because they needed him. The lore didn't demand it, the fans didn't ask for it. Just, hey, we need a thief character. Make one up. And it must have worked because he's still around. Some characters aren't quite as lucky. Sometimes a character shows up, gets multiple big roles in multiple games, and then vanishes one day without a trace.
Right.
Let's talk about Koopa Kid. Specifically, I'd like someone to explain what happened to Koopa Kid. Because I swear this guy was everywhere in the early 2000s until he just wasn't. If you played a Mario Party game from this time, which, side note, I hope you did, because the ones with Koopa Kid are widely considered to be the best in the series, you expected Koopa Kid to be a part of the deal. He was the go-to mini-boss nuisance, popping up to mess with you, steal your coins or items, and generally make your day a little bit worse.
Right.
Isn't Mario Party fun? But these days, he's completely vanished. No send-off, no falling into the lava thanks to a switch you'd think Bowser
He like a mini Bowser.
would stop putting in his castles. Just gone. So what's the deal? Let's rewind. First, I'd love to discuss what Koopa Kid, or the Koopa Kids, actually are between a species, just one guy, a shapeshifter. Don't worry, I'll get to that one. But the thing is, Nintendo never really made it especially clear. So hold on tight, because this part gets a little bumpy. 7 Koopa Kids showed up in the very first Mario Party on the final board in the game, acting as Bowser's henchmen, or cohorts, as they're called. Although in this game, and Mario Parties 2 and 3, the Koopa Kids are called Baby Bowsers. This is not to be confused with Baby Bowser, this guy, who is, well, the baby form of Bowser. That said, there's no way I'm the only person who's ever gotten confused at how similar Baby Bowser looks to another very relevant character to the Koopa Kids, Bowser Jr. Yes, you heard me right. These two identical guys with nothing distinguishable outside of Junior's bandana are not the same. I'm sure some of you watching are well aware of this, but Nintendo hasn't always done the best job of clarifying this in recent games, such as Yoshi's Crafted World, where I most certainly thought I was fighting Bowser Jr. I've seen a lot of people call Bowser Jr. Baby Bowser and Mario Maker over the years as well, but a good rule of thumb is that if Bowser's here, and the game isn't full of all the other baby characters, it's Bowser Jr., not Baby Bowser. Getting back to the Koopa Kids, these guys had a bit of an identity crisis throughout their brief but fun lifetime in the first 7 Mario Party games. Not only did their names change from Baby Bowsers to Koopa Kids in Mario Party 4, but in the UK, a third name would get thrown.
What happened to the Koopalings? Did they even make it to the? Did they make it to the new cut on the new Mario game? The Koopalings? Did they make it in the new cut? I want to know about that. Like, did they? Because, like, I don't know. I ain't see them. They probably did. I don't know.
Into the mix of mini Bowsers, which is what they would be known by over there, through their final appearance in Mario Party 7. So if you take their 3 different names, Baby Bowser, the same as when Bowser was a baby, Mini Bowser, which sounds like they're just smaller versions of Bowser, like he shrunk down or something, Koopa Kid, which sounds like they're children of his Japanese name Koopa, then add in that the Koopalings were originally introduced as Bowser's 7 kids, and we do know with 100% certainty that Bowser Jr. is his son. Oh boy, Bowser has some explaining to do. All things considered though, it certainly doesn't seem like Nintendo was actually trying to imply that any of the Koopa kids were Bowser's sons. Just like the Koopalings aren't considered Bowser's kids anymore either. There was an instance of a Koopa kid calling Bowser dad, and Bowser calling a Koopa kid son. But they usually call him Mr. Bowser or Sir. I know some people like to get super creative with some of their fan theories and such though, so hey, maybe that one Koopa kid he called son was Bowser Jr. and we just didn't realize it. I don't know, whatever makes you sleep better at night. The nuances of the Koopa kids don't stop there though. There's a reason these guys left a huge impression on me despite only having minor appearances in Mario Party games. In Mario Party 5's unique story mode, we watch a Koopa kid transform into 3 different colored Koopa kids, each named after their respective colors, and you have to defeat them. This is such an insane ability to just throw at us out of nowhere, and it does kind of make me wonder what all the limitations are on it. Then, in Mario Party Advance, there's a minigame with 99 Koopa kids in it, which does seem to really drive home that they're just a species, seemingly the same species as Bowser. Also in Mario Party Advance, we see tons of the different colored Koopa kids all at once, instead of just the 3 that have been torturing us for a few games now. I don't think Nintendo or Hudson Soft intended on us thinking too hard about any sort of implications from these guys, but I do have to wonder. Are all of these colored Koopa kids the result of singular, normal Koopa kids splitting into 3? Or are there some Koopa kids who are different colors than the rest? If nothing else, the splitting into 3 does only occur in a game after we saw 3 differently colored Koopa kids first appear in Mario Party 2, and it's never seen again outside of that one time in Mario Party 5. So who really knows? When Nintendo started developing the series in-house with Mario Party 8, Bowser Jr. stepped into that role, and it's been that way ever since. Koopa Kid became a footnote replaced by the newer, more defined character. Boards in new games that used to have Koopa Kids no longer do, and Mario Party games that used to feature them no longer do so either, instead also replacing them with Bowser Jr. It makes sense in a way. Bowser Jr. has a clear identity and family connection to Bowser, which probably makes him easier to write and market. Koopa Kid, on the other hand, never really had that clarity. Still, there's something kind of charming about that ambiguity. Koopa Kid embodies the weird little guy perfectly. He had a presence, a personality, and then he was quietly shelved, without much fanfare.
It'd be like that though.
That's the reality of being in this club of strange side characters. It doesn't usually have a ton of perks, and a lot of things tend to just get left unexplained. However, sometimes the exact opposite happens. Sometimes you're introduced with a very clear distinction about who you are, only for that clear distinction to get pushed under the rug after you become a very frequent character in the Mario spin-off games. Enter the queen of the Weird Little Guys Club, Birdo. There are tons of Mario characters that have deeper backstories and a much more definitive characterization than Birdo. I think that goes without saying, but I'm not sure any Mario character has ever made me raise my eyebrow quite as much as Birdo has. Well, until 2025 anyways. But don't worry, we'll get to that one another day. Birdo hasn't made too many prominent appearances over the years, and is regularly a character that's in one spin-off, then not in the next. Somehow though, Birdo has managed to be portrayed very inconsistently in spite of that, compared to most other Mario side characters. Going back to Birdo's debut, I mentioned in another video how she was described as follows in the manual for Super Mario Bros. 2. He thinks he is a girl and he spits eggs from his mouth. He would rather be called Birdetta. I of course used that to mention how old video game manuals were the Wild West where anything could happen back in the day. The Koopalings are a popular example of this, since they're said to be Bowser's kids in SMB3's manual, but are of course no longer considered to be his kids per Nintendo. But these few sentences have been a long-standing part of why Birdo has resonated with a lot of Mario fans, and have developed Birdo into a cult favorite Mario character. If you're wondering why she's called Birdo when, well, she's not a bird, you're not the only one. Interestingly enough, in her origin game of Doki Doki Panic, the game we of course know as SMB2 in the West, Birdo was first called Catherine, which is still her name in Japan to this day. Then when we got this game as our Super Mario Bros. 2, there was actually some confusion about what we were supposed to call Birdo. Not because of the Birdo-Birdetta reference from the manual, although that does raise some implications about if Nintendo of America has been dead naming this character for years, I suppose, because Birdo is mistakenly called Ostro in the end credits, and vice versa. And this is actually the case in the original manual as well, though it's been retroactively corrected, and we of course safely know this is Birdo, and this one-off character is Ostro.
Okay.
When we see Birdo, it's usually just this one Birdo.
Yeah.
Though from her very first appearance, we can actually see it is a species of Birdos, similar to Yoshi, Toad, and most other side characters. So, also like Yoshi and Toad, this one Birdo we see most of the time is presented as just the Birdo in a sense.
And then why they were trying to make Yoshi and saying Yoshi was gay for dating Birdo or some shit like that? I don't think that Yoshi gay?
There are some interesting conclusions you could draw by the frequent presentation of being just one Birdo, going back to her SMB2 description that has been mirrored in a few other games, but I never really know what Nintendo wants us to think. Was this meant to apply to every Birdo in the game, or just like the Birdo, you know? And on the subject of this description from Super Mario Bros. 2, Birdo has a very infamous appearance in a Japan-exclusive game called Captain Rainbow that is explicitly based off this. Some viewers commented about this in another video. Thank you for that, by the way. I read every comment and I love learning new things from you all, so be sure to comment if you have anything extra to add on to this video. But I had never heard of this at all, so I looked into it and watched a few videos on it myself. That said, specifically because there is a very interesting end to Birdo's segment.
Wait, what you mean a very interesting end as we speak? And hold up. And what is this game is, bro? Is it on the GameCube or something like that? They like GameCube quality.
In that game. I'm going to leave that game to the others who have already done commentary on it. But if you're in deep on the Nintendo iceberg, I 100% recommend looking into that yourself. But there is a reason that one didn't make its way to the US, and it's probably not whatever you're thinking right now. So moving outside of her original appearance, Birdo's modern design has an interesting little detail that might go unnoticed if you're not chronically playing Mario games like I am. A giant diamond ring. But it's not just a diamond ring. It's a diamond ring on her left hand, on her, ring finger, I think. We've of course never gotten any official confirmation on what this is supposed to mean, but the ring showed up for the very first time in Mario Kart Double Dash, where she was paired up with Yoshi. In fact, in almost every game where characters get paired up, you can bet Yoshi's being paired up with Birdo. Even just on the surface, this makes sense. They're both the egg characters. So I don't think it's a stretch to say this ring showing up in the first game where she's paired with Yoshi is at least a little intentional, even if it's just meant to be a fun inclusion to make you question it for a second. After Double Dash, it didn't take too much longer to see Birdo in another spin-off for the GameCube, as she's one of the 4 supporting characters you can pick between after picking your character in Super Mario Strikers. Okay. I always did DK and Birdo in this game, in part because I loved the cool color of Birdo you got when you paired her with Donkey Kong. Wait, hold on a second. Hold up. You're telling me all these Birdos have a ring? What about in Mario Kart 8 where you can... yep. There it is. They all have rings. Wow. Yoshi, you dog. Bowser's not the only one with some explaining to do around here. Well, speaking of Mario Kart, getting the different colored Birdo options in this game was such a nice little surprise. I was admittedly a little disappointed when she didn't get the same treatment from Mario Kart World. But maybe she'll have some additional costumes added later on that give her the Yoshi treatment of changing her color. I don't know what it is about Birdo, but in the same way that Yoshi does, I feel like she perfectly embodies what makes the side characters in Mario games so fun. She starts off as a boss where you have to throw her own eggs back at her. She's played up as a major diva, and she has all sorts of fun color options to choose from. Yeah. I'd be lying if I didn't say Birdo is... I ain't lying to you. I still play... I love playing with Birdo on Nintendo. For the card, I play it for a fighting game. I play it with any game they have add Birdo, man. Let them keep on adding Birdo in the game. I'm still play it. So who is Birdo? A villain? A hero? Yoshi's girlfriend or fiance? All of the above? Or somehow possibly none of the above? Who knows?
Just now, Yoshi and Bowser look like they players around here. They got the rings and all. They got a lot of girls. Okay.
But that's the magic. Birdo,
I
like
see
Koopa
ya.
Kid, like Nabbit, and like so many other side characters from the Mario universe, is proof that the Last of Us style character development doesn't always matter. Sometimes
Right.
you're just a weird little guy, and that's more than enough.
Yeah.
Nabbit, the sneaky criminal turned hero that nobody understands. Koopa
Oh
Kid,
yeah, he
the
is.
clone
He was in Mario Sonic Olympus 2016. Yeah.
mini villain who vanished
I
without a
forgot.
trace. Birdo, an over-the-top, bow-wearing, enigmatic character who's left tons of questions unanswered for almost 40 years. None of these characters were ever designed to be the star of the show. But that's what makes them so great. They're
Special.
never the icons of the company. They're never the headliners. They're just sort of misfits.
Yeah.
But that somehow makes them feel more human than most of the main roster of Mario characters.
Facts.
They don't need to make sense. They just need to be fun. So in a way, these characters embody what Nintendo is all about just as much as Mario and Luigi do. And I would not have it any other way.
And they got a special part in every role. All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on social media. Did pop on the screen. We're on the road to 300. Who else y'all think is feeling like the most weirdest characters? Y'all comment down below or comment on the short. Who else y'all feel like is the most weirdest character? Y'all subscribe. Like up the video. And see y'all when I see y'all. And I'm out.